My name is Alex Leyba, and my main dream in life has always been to become a filmmaker, to create original stories that move people, but I was just never sure how to do it. Until now, that is. After all these years, I've finally come up with a new, outside-of-the-box, ambitious, original form of personal cinema. It's also been a dream of mine to have my own franchise, and I've achieved that with my vlog series on YouTube I've been doing the last 10 years. That was basically like my film school. I've always loved movies, so why not just make my whole life into a movie? The idea is to film everything that happens and edit it all together into a narrative and make a series of films that span throughout my whole life.
What's the movie we have never seen because you haven't made it?
And the movies would remain in the same continuity as my vlog series. No actors, everybody's just their real authentic selves.
If you're an indie filmmaker and you're out there going like, nobody's ever fucking heard my story, they've never fucking seen what I can do.
The elevator pitch would be, it's like the Truman Show, but I'm in on it. And nobody has ever and will ever do anything this ambitious.
I want you to take the cameras down, please.
Just act like they're not there. That's what actors do.
I'm not an actor.
Well, my dad just threw me out of the house.
So when something goes wrong, your first instinct is to make a movie out of it?
Yeah, it does seem like you're in a pretty bad situation.
Can I live with you or not?
I don't see a world where that happens.
Grow up. Get yourself an apartment.
Can I please just live with you for 2 weeks?
I don't want my whole life to be broadcast, Alex.
I'm trying to push the boundaries of filmmaking.
You're reading off scripted dialogue.
No, I'm not.
And you become part of his fantasy world. Then you really get to see who he is.
Now and then I think of all the times you screwed me over.
I'm not a friend to you. I'm just a character in your little universe.
We're all just characters, Alex. Every single one of us.
You're not even real, bro. I think you could possibly be a psychopath.
There would never be an ending to this, unless someone put a definitive ending to it.
You said that you could let it go, but I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know. Didn't have to cut me off. Make it like it never happened and that we were nothing. And I don't even need your love. So treat me like a stranger and that feels so rough. No, you didn't have to stop so long. Having friends collecting records and then change your number. Guessing I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Your life is not a documentary. It's a joke.
I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
That's the end.
I used to know that I used to know.
Welcome, folks at home. Welcome, folks at home, back to RueTV tonight. I am so happy. I am so damn happy to be here tonight live. Yes, we're live, sorta, with one of my favorite humans. They're all my guests are one of my favorite humans, but this guy in particular, you may remember him. You may remember him from a couple RueTV videos. Now, this is the weird thing is this is the first time on camera that I've talked to this guy as myself. The two times I've seen him in public have been at horror cons, and the first time was with Tony Malibu. I was in character, one of my YouTube characters. For anybody watching this for the first time that has no idea about my channel, I have characters. I was Tony Malibu. Second time was actually this past March, I think it was, and I was Herb Crackerjack. And this is the first time I'm very excited about it. Very excited about it, to have a nice long talk with the legendary Alex Leyba. Alex Leyba, how you doing tonight?
Great. How about yourself? I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I am so stoked to talk about your new movie, the Alex Leyba Movie II. I was fortunate enough to see it all, and man, I can't explain how much. And this is not blowing smoke up your ass because you're my guest on the show, because it happens a lot on podcasts where you can have Robot Clown 8, the director of Robot Clown 8, and you'll be like, oh my God, it was the best horror movie ever. And they, no, it wasn't. You're just kissing Robot Clown 8's director's ass. I'm not doing that today. I sincerely got emotional watching this film, and we're gonna.
Really?
I really did because, and I can't say everybody will. I hope you do because that's a great thing to pull out of your viewer. But I connected with a lot of it, and there were a lot of parallels to this, to my life. I'm older than you. I'm not to pinpoint my age, but for those of you at home, I'm like cool dude. I'm cool dude or wet movie age, if you know what that is. Yeah, you know, around there, around that age. Yeah, around that age. So I it was such a inspiring piece of work. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about yourself briefly because again, I know we have a lot of your fans, your subscribers watching, but there are some people who don't know Alex Leyba really. So give us a little background on who you are and your love and how your love of filmmaking developed as a kid.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate like how much you like the movie. It really means a lot. And yeah, I can't wait to get more into it.
Yeah,
Well, I've always loved movies ever since I was a little kid,
yeah,
always. And so it's like the seed has been in there
yeah,
like ever since a very young age. I know I've always liked movies, but it wasn't until about 2012 to where I really I discovered the movie community on YouTube,
yeah.
Cool Dude or Wet Movie, Jeremy
Stuck,
Johns, Flickpick, Stuckman,
Stuckman. Yeah,
all these,
yeah.
YMS, all these people, and
Hmm.
I thought, man, now playing podcasts. Shout out to them, my favorite
Yeah, yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
did you listen to them?
I've heard of them, definitely. Yeah, my podcast listening has dwindled over the past 6 months, but I have definitely in my radar. But
Gotcha.
plug to them though. Plug to them.
Gotcha. Yeah, they're great. And so I discovered them that year, and then I thought, like, man, like I love movies too. And then so it was from that point on that I started to like really like movies, to where
Yeah.
I see them, I started seeing them as like pieces of work
Hmm.
rather than just mindless entertainment.
Hmm.
And so and then in 2015, I started my YouTube channel just doing movie reviews, Blu-ray updates, and things like that. Because at that point, I was really passionate about film criticism, and I wanted to be a film critic, a movie reviewer. I aspired to be like Chris Stuckman and
Yeah.
and these other people and Cool Looter and Wet Movie and stuff. And so you know, and then in about I think 2019, 2020, I
Hmm.
started to uh think I started to realize that film criticism was not my passion, and
Yeah.
that my true passion was filmmaking. That is ultimately
Absolutely.
what I really want to do. I mean, I still love talking about movies, as
Yeah.
anyone who is passionate about films does, but just I just realized I wasn't passionate about doing it as a like for a like on a YouTube channel. And so then yeah, the my channel, like I said, started out as Blu-ray updates, movie reviews, things like that. And then I started doing the Blu-ray hunting videos like
Yeah.
Cool Duder and Wet Movie
Right.
and then that really, and then I did videos with them in 2017 and then 2018. And then that's when my channel really started to take off, because before that I got 2,000 subscribers on my own, but then after
Hmm.
that that really shot me up to like
Yeah.
to where a lot more people were checking out the videos. And then at a certain point, the channel just kind of turned into vlog videos. But I tried to
Yeah.
have we still talked about movies, a lot, but it wasn't like
Hmm.
the main focus. It's like the
Right.
main focus is me and my friends, and the vlog series, comedy, character centric, aspects of it,
Right.
rather than the movie talks. Like, we're still going to talk
Yeah.
about movies, but it's like I'm going to do my own thing. And it's
I
like,
think you get more out of it. You get more out of it. I mean, just from my opinion, you can talk to your blue in the face about other people's movies, and that's great. And I'd love to hear your opinion. But when you're creating your own art or your own whatever it is in the world, it's just you get it's more fulfilling, I think, right? When Jesus said
Yeah.
than just ripping or praising other people's work, especially when you're a creative person like you are.
Yeah, exactly. And like the one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give to anybody who wants to start a YouTube channel or be creative on YouTube is that you have to do it, because I mean this is basic advice, but I mean it's true, because like I realized this. A lot of people wanted me to do the same thing, Blu-ray hunting, movie reviews, yada yada yada. And it's like, yeah, I like that if it comes up, sure, but it's like I want to do these other things, and if I
Yeah.
lose and I want to do vlogs, and if I lose viewers, then so what? See you
Yeah.
later. Thanks. Like it's what I want to do, and it's like if you're
Mhm.
doing content, to where you don't enjoy doing it, if you're just doing it to get views, attention, clicks, or if you're doing it for all the wrong reasons, then it'll come through in the content, and it's like people can tell.
Yeah.
And so just do content that you are legitimately passionate about, and it'll come through. And then yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's you got to do what you love and it will show through and be, Sid Haig, the actor that passed away a few years ago, told me, met him a few times at horror cons, but he said another key aspect of that is just never giving up and never quitting.
Hmm.
Despite you're going to have a lot of shit along the way, a lot of disparaging remarks from so-called friends, family. I mean, that's a theme. That's a theme in both your movies. Especially the second one. And I would before we get into I really need to know this because, and I think I already know the answer. This might be a stupid question, but like I know that you blurred the lines of fiction and reality. Sometimes it's easy to tell what was scripted and what was not in your movies. Specifically, we're talking about part two today, though.
Hmm.
Um, but the whole aspect of like family, in your 20s, mid 20s, just getting on you about it's time to stop and move on and do things with your life. Was that real or was that like something in your head or did that really happen in real life? Or or,
um
or do you not
one
want
one
to?
thousand no one one
Yeah.
thousand 1000% real.
Okay, because
That was
that sure
yeah.
happened to me too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had some PTSD about that when I was watching your movie. I was like, oh, I remember my dad having that talk with me when I was 26.
It's the only thing that you can relate to. There's other things in life about, being domesticated, getting a better job, getting a career. I'll be here to help you and stuff. I'm not, it's not the end of us. I mean, you're my only son, I care about you and I love you. I've done everything for you, but it's just a one-sided thing and I'm getting sick of it. I hate doing this. It really, gets to me that I have to do something, this drastic. I don't see no development with you. It's frustrating for me because I was hoping you would flourish or be, something a little more than what we got here. About 10 years ago, you got introduced to the internet, and I tell people, I said, why you got introduced to the internet, and I haven't seen him since. The family doesn't even know who you are. I mean, they know you're a movie dude and stuff like that, and YouTube dude. That's your only identity, it seems like.
Yeah, I don't know. I could talk about that for a while, but like, but basically, I mean, that's just like the main thing, like,
Hmm.
that my family sees me as is just, oh, he's a movie
Yeah,
guy, and that's
yeah,
all he's about, and it's like,
yeah.
I understand my dad's point. Like, he's referring to a scene in the movie with
Hmm.
my dad.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's I understand where they're coming from, and it's like, he's right, obviously, but like um
Well, it's
yeah,
tough.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not,
it's tough because yeah, it's tough. So that scene in general, which I'm speaking of, it's early on in part two. If you guys checked it out already, or if you're going to check it out, it's shot from behind Gene, I think his name is right, Gene.
yeah.
Okay, and the way he's giving you the talking to is so real and so realistic. I don't. Like it sounded like that's what he really thought. Whether or not he told him, here's just tell me this. It was a scene that hit home with me because I just remember being that person uh many years ago. Not too many years ago, but it's I just feel like people in general in society have a hard time, and they want the best. At the end, they really want the best for us and you, and but at the same time, they don't really have a grasp on the fact that sometimes the generic normal life is not going to make somebody happy.
Yeah. And
And you know what I mean?
and that's one of the morals. Like there's a scene where I talk about that
Yeah,
in the movie before that scene to where it's like, everybody wants me to be ordinary, just get a regular job and
yeah,
live a
yeah,
regular, boring ass, bland life. And it's like, I don't want that.
yeah,
I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to do these things that I'm passionate about, because life's too short. And like,
yeah,
that's one of the morals of it for sure, or the
yeah.
messages or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it definitely hit home for me. What was it? I mean, this thing is shot so brilliantly. What was the toughest part of overall? What was the toughest part of making part two? Like in terms of like getting everybody on board. Like you had so many people in your life in this. What was the toughest part of just producing this thing, directing it?
I mean, the whole thing was hard. I mean, I would
Yeah,
think that, obviously with more professional films, if you were to ask a filmmaker that, they would say, I don't know, the whole thing, which I mean, it's true. I mean, just the whole thing was just so hard to put together,
yeah,
for a lot of different reasons. I mean, some things are way easier than others. Like the entire thing wasn't like excruciatingly hard, but it's just the editing process specifically
yeah,
because because like with the way, I mean, the whole movie is unorthodox in a lot of ways,
yeah,
to your standard
yeah.
film, but like also like the way that I shoot things,
Hmm.
I shoot for so long, and I had to edit so much footage down so much, and
Yeah,
you know
it can be not, I don't want to say, I probably use the word, it's not hard or tough. It's just kind of like it's a grind. To edit that. It really is time consuming, and it's kind of draining almost, we should say.
Yeah, and then so I would say just overall the editing process was the
Yeah.
most hard thing I've ever had to do because of how ridiculously time consuming it is.
Well,
This
yeah.
movie
Mhm.
I started shooting technically back in I've technically been working on this for 3 years,
Holy
technically.
shit. Holy shit.
Yes, exactly. Okay, but technically,
Yeah.
but because I did a short film version of part two,
Yeah.
and it was, it was called the Leyba Movie II, and then, it was a pretty stupid idea. It was like a 40-minute long version of it. And so that is now no longer canon
Okay.
in its entirety, but I used about 5 or 6 minutes from that short in the new, feature length Leyba Movie II, and
Right.
that was back in. I started shooting that in September 2022,
Yeah.
and then but like official shooting began on this story in March 2023,
Okay.
specifically around the time of the Forest Hills
Hmm. Yeah.
movie premiere and things like that.
Hmm.
And so like most of the movie's been shot for a really long time. I just spent so much time editing this fucking thing.
Well, yeah,
If you'll excuse my
but
language.
I will say this. I mean, there's been indie filmmakers who kind of, I don't want to say mail it in, but it's like, okay, well, he edited it up, it's chopped up, it's done. You did a fantastic fucking job editing. Like this thing is really tight, the way you chopped it up. The music just perfect.
Thank you.
It was, it cannot go understate. I wrote it down in there in my run sheet. I said, like, you have to bring up to Alex about how important the music was to some of these scenes. Like, just genius choices of songs. I like how you didn't give a shit about like if they were copyrighted songs. You used songs you wanted because that's a risk you take. You can't monetize. But who cares? You want to get your art out there in the way you want to get your art out there with the right music that fits the scene. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Like I'm very proud of the soundtrack, and I really loved. That was by far my favorite part of the editing process, or at least one of them.
You use Johnny Cash's "Hurt" in a latter stage of the movie. I thought that was just like, oh, got me right here. That was really perfectly placed. So that's one that stands out. That's one that stands out in my mind of all the,
And also, it's interesting because I've never seen a film or anything used. At least it's probably happened before, but I've never heard of anything using two versions of the same song.
That's right. You use the Nine Inch Nails one too. Yeah.
And like it's the kind of thing. Obviously, we're not going to get into the specifics of the scene because it's like a massive spoiler.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing to where I didn't even know that the Nine Inch Nails version was the original until I looked into it. And it's like, no, Johnny Cash is the redid it. And it's like, oh, interesting. And then it's interesting because with the first half of the scene, in my opinion, the Johnny Cash version didn't work in the edit. And I'm thinking like, it's going to be so weird if I use both versions of the song. And I'm like, screw it. And then I just did it. Yeah. And then I felt it really fit together really well, but I appreciate that.
Okay, so first half of the movie, let's just give a little synopsis. This would be something like if you watch the trailer at this point. I think if you're watching this, Alex, you drop the trailer or some kind of little teaser or something, right? So say this may be in the teaser. If not, we'll cut this out of the thing. But you get kicked out of your house. Okay,
it's 1,000% going to be the main thing in the trailer.
Yeah, you get kicked out of your house. Some really, really interesting interactions with Alex trying to shack up with other people in his life. And some of the things I have to give a shout out. I've had Brandon on the show before, Wet Movie 1, and some of his responses to not only that, but other things in the movie, just so goddamn funny. Like, and he wasn't even there, most of his scenes, he shot himself on the phone and everything, but like, just shout out the Wet Movie. That was really, he had some really funny one-liners. I don't know if you fed them those or he just did them off the cuff, but
everything was off the cuff. Like he just, I mean, like that's kind of how I direct is I usually just give people the general idea because like I'm no writer. I'm terrible at writing, but it's about having like the skeleton of the plot. And it's like, here's what the scene is. Here's what you want. Here's what I want. Go. And then it's like if they're playing, especially because with my stuff, like a lot of people are either literally completely playing themselves or like, in my stuff, everyone's literally themselves, and so it's the kind of thing to where like whatever they will say, improv will be way better and more natural and realistic than anything that I could write.
Oh, absolutely. Because when you get in that stage of people trying to memorize and just get their lines right, it becomes more canned and wooden. By design, rather than having them just say, here's bullet points, react, improv, how you would react in normal life to this. Which, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example, which I don't even know if this was the way you guys shot it was like sort of hidden camera with Grandpa at the scene. Was that his real react? I mean, if you don't want to go in too much inside baseball, you don't have to. I totally get it because I come from I grew up loving pro wrestling. We all know what that is. You hide, you protect the business. And Andy Kaufman and all kind of stuff where it's like you blur the lines of reality. But that one, I'm like, that seems like you just showed up to Grandpa's door and he got his reaction to you getting kicked out of the house and told you to get an apartment, grow up.
Hey, Grandpa.
Hi.
I missed you.
What's going on?
Not much. Come on, closer.
Good to see you guys.
So, I have a little dilemma right now. My dad kind of kicked me out, you see, and I'm kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
What took him so long?
Honestly, I was wondering the same thing. Why are you laughing? It's a serious situation.
It's serious for you.
That's what I've been trying to tell him.
So anyway, what's the deal?
I was just curious if there'd be any chance at all that.
No way. I can't believe that I'm turning my grandson away.
I can't believe it either.
Alex, listen. At some point in your life, you gotta grow up. Your dad evidently was able to see that finally. My suggestion is, and I don't mean to be harsh, but grow up. Get yourself an apartment. I gotta go.
Well, like the thing about the movie. Well, first of all, like I said, I shoot so much footage. Like there is the deleted scenes video is going to be like 2.5 hours long.
Okay, cool.
And then so like I don't know about that, but it's just I shoot so much, like a ridiculous amount of footage, and then I like whittle it down and use the things that I feel are like usable or good or funny or whatever, like the stuff that I think is serves the story or is like. And so basically like there's so much more dialogue in literally every single scene, like with the wet movie scene, there's so much other stuff that he improv, but like it just like all the scenes I had to cut so short, and then like I was worried that the movie felt like too felt like it was going too fast.
Yeah.
But like a couple people who have seen it said that it didn't. But yeah, that one was that was his genuine reaction. I mean,
Love it. I love it. That's when you make the mark at the beginning of the movie, it's like them doing something that no one has ever done before. I mean, and I know there's been movies that have kind of blended that over the years, certain comedy ones, like I don't know, certain Eric Andre or Borat, things like that, where they kind of mess with reality, but also weave a narrative into the story. But I think that you did a phenomenal job with that. Just this unbelievable job. And that's the best resource. I mean, with the resources that you had, that's the best possible kind of produced movie you could do. Like I don't know, man. I just like I look at certain, and I'm not going to name names of people. They get into indie movies and whether they are fully have a full stake in the production of it, or they're certain aspects of it. I don't know. They just sometimes just don't come out the way you think they should. This piece of art that you made came out so perfect, in my opinion. And I hope people echo those sentiments that it's just, you could have done an entirely different, you could have done an entirely different style of movie. And I don't think it would have worked. I don't think it would have worked if you would have hand fed everybody lines to memorize and you're doing this and you're doing that. I don't think it would have worked. I think this is the only way to make this thing stand out, and you did it. How long did it take you to flesh out the idea for part two, or did you already kind of have it in your head, like after part one was finished? He's like, all right, well, now I want to, because I remember what was it? Wasting Movie One gave you the advice. That was the whole thing of making the movies and moving on and everything and not move. I don't like moving on. I like the word evolving the content to movies. But how long did it take you to flesh out the ideas of and what you wanted to do with this movie for part two?
well, the idea of myself being kicked out was
Yeah.
always like, and then trying to find a place to, it's like that was always present from the very beginning, and then it
Yeah.
kind of and then living with Mason, and then well, sorry, it's kind of a spoiler,
Yeah.
but like like that was always there the whole time, but then the it just kept growing and growing and growing, and then it was to the point to where I didn't know like exactly what the third act would be
Yeah.
completely. Like it was going to be something entirely different, then it was going to be something entirely different than that.
Yeah.
And then it's like I don't even remember what it was supposed to be like a couple
Right.
years ago or
Initially.
whatever.
Right. Hmm.
But some things happened in real life that completely dictated the narrative of the third act.
So you took,
And so
yeah, yeah, you took real world situations that were happening to you and kind of weave them into the story.
yeah, it's like I would not have expected any of that, to have
Yeah.
been, like the third act, to have been anything like it was. Like it just was just completely bonkers off the rails.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like I just I just did not I mean, but it's just like there's a lot of reasons why it is the way it is like in
Hmm.
real life. I mean like basically like the whole thing was just super like adding things, subtracting things, mixing things up,
Hmm.
and then like the idea of it for example I guess it's a light spoiler but like I don't think this is too bad to say like the third like the movie for the most part plays linear
Yeah.
the first there's a couple things in the first act that are non-linear but then
The first scene and then it goes back. The first
I
scene is you at the doorstep and then it goes back 20 minutes earlier or something. Or
or it goes 12 hours earlier
12 hours. Yeah, yeah,
then it
12
says
12 hours. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then it goes 6 months earlier and
Right, right,
then
right.
some of them and then it's
Yeah.
actually just like the Deadpool movies
Right.
which I was
Right.
actually unconscious of when I
Yeah.
because that's been the way it is for a long time
Yeah.
and then I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, wait a second, people literally think I'm ripping off the Deadpool movies. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. But then the third act is very very non-linear
Yeah. Yeah.
which is what I really love about it and I'm very proud of
Yeah.
and that just like the entire structure of the whole third act and all of that was you know entirely just found in the edit. I just had all this
Yeah.
footage and then it's like just like what filmmakers say or what William Friedkin said. A movie's made three times, once
Hmm.
in the script, then another time when you shoot it, then another time when you're editing it, and so
Yeah, without giving spoilers towards the end, and that kind of a theme throughout is just like loss of just people in your life that just for one reason or another. Some get married, some have kids, some just change their personality, and you think that these people are going to be with you forever, and you think they're with you for the long haul, but the reality is that they're just not. And I learned that the hard way. And one of my favorite movies. Daniel Clowes wrote the graphic novel. Terry Zwigoff directed it. It was Ghost World. And one of the reasons I liked that, I thought it was such a microcosm of life, of like how Enid played by Thora Birch, you know, she thinks everything is going to be the same. Everything around her changes. Her best friend changes. Family changes. Her her expectations of her life change. So like everything. So I when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's really very relatable. At least to people like me. I mean, like some people live a cookie cutter existence and everything just goes in line, and that's cool. That works for them. But like for people like
good
me,
for them.
yeah, good for them. But that's not the case for everybody. And I relate a lot to that, and that was a scene, and fucking during like some of those scenes where you're getting hit with all this shit, and you're cutting all this negative shit people saying to you, and the way you react and act, I have to point this out because I just kissed your kissed your ass about being a good editor and idea man, but you're a damn good actor, Alex. That was pretty good acting.
I thought I was terrible, but
No, no,
I
no, no,
really
no, no, no.
appreciate that.
No, on the scale of what can we rate? Let's just say in the indie, in the indie realm of movies, that was fucking it was fantastic. It was awesome. I thought the way you reacted was very genuine. I didn't look at it and say like, he's definitely phoning that in. Like I could see that was like a real kind of or it felt real, your reaction to that situation
Yeah,
towards
you mean towards the end?
yeah, we don't want to give away
Okay.
what happens, but I mean like you're getting hit with a lot of negative stuff and just your facials and
I
your yeah,
I really tried with that.
yeah.
Okay, so the thing about that is that um for of course I'm going to be critical of myself, but I didn't think I was very good through most of it. Like there are some points to where I felt like I was okay or fine. I thought, okay, this is passable. This is okay.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing to where like I feel like if I was an actor in like a legitimate movie, that
Hmm.
was like scripted, I would be way worse because obviously I'm playing myself
Yeah.
or a I feel like it was like better than it way better than it would have been if it was a legitimate scripted movie, to where I'm playing a completely different character because obviously I'm playing a over exaggerated version of myself
Right, right, right.
or who, who am I kidding? It's me. Like there is no like just
Hmm.
like all my friends would be watching this thinking there is no like they'd be watching the screen saying there is no over exaggerated version of
It's
you. Like
you.
it's
Yeah.
literally you.
Yeah.
And so like even if what was happening like even if the scene wasn't 100% happening for real,
Yeah.
it's like it was all either based in things that were real in terms of the relationship or it was literally happening completely like as you see it or like it was all reality to a certain extent if that makes sense. And so
Yeah.
because of that I feel like yeah, like my performance and other people's performances are
It can help.
better
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
than like if it would have been a like a different scripted movie where they're playing different
Yeah, I
characters.
mean, this is based on real emotions that you've probably felt one time or another, or fairly recently, as opposed to if you were in a scripted movie about, I don't know, your mom gets hit by a truck, and then you have to go tell your cousin, just something made up entirely fake that
Yep.
you've never experienced, but you've got to pull from to get that sad reaction. But this it felt natural, it felt real.
It's all coming from real,
Yeah.
you know, real places and real things that I am, like
Hmm.
either have felt before or, like am currently feeling to a certain extent or whatever. It's like it's all gonna come from a real place, just like what I always bring up William Friedkin. Like he always brings up sense memory, like he would get
Yeah.
to know that, he would get to know the actors really well and then bring up traumatic memories from their past when they had
Oh yeah.
to shoot a certain scene and then to try to steer them in that emotional
Yeah.
direction for it.
We love physical media. I love physical media. I just feel like even if there's like a rare like print at home, you should put this thing on. But let me show you something right now. You're gonna get a kick out of. In my hand right now, guess what I got? Guess what I got right now, Alex? I have Out and About 2, the Las Vegas Adventure, the uncut edition, the one where you see young Gabriel's privates right there, right there. Sorry about that. And I have something so rare right here. I have something so rare right here that I don't know how many people have it, maybe two. It's on YouTube. It's the Around the Country with Sean and MJ. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, so this is pretty rare too. So the point of it is, why am I showing you the Sean and MJ? Why am I showing you the Out and About? I think maybe we should maybe there should be a limited, maybe print at home something. You make the slipcover yourself and sell them just to have a physical copy of the Alex Leyba movie too. What do you think? Maybe sell it to I don't know who you could sell it to. Somebody will buy it. You know,
Well,
it's a thought. It's a thought.
that's what so okay, so the thing about that is like I would love that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be incredible. Which by the way, I do have the Out and About the movie too on
Oh,
Blu-ray
you,
as
oh, you
well.
have? Okay,
But
yeah.
I
That.
got the signed version. Actually, let me show
Oh,
you.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's see it. I hope nobody stole it. I hope Gabriel didn't break in and steal it.
Oh man, I don't know. It's somewhere, but yeah, I have the signed version. I don't have the Sean and MJ DVD though.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was during the dying days of this friendship. But
yes.
we won't we could talk all day about Cool Duder, but we're not here to talk about Cool Duder and MJ today. Although I should, if I could find if anybody out there knows the physical address of MJ, I'd like to mail this to him. Just maybe with
When has anybody heard from MJ? Like
I don't think anybody has. I don't know. I mean, the last he was his wife, and it was like 10 years ago or something, 8 years ago, something like that, and just disappeared again.
mhm.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Hopefully we get a reunion out and about someday.
I would
But
love that.
but yeah, that'd be great. But a lot of people have told me like, oh, you started your channel on Blu-ray updates, Blu-ray hunting, Blu-ray movies, blah, 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 your physical media, make a
Yeah.
Blu-ray for. But it's like
Yeah.
the thing is that I would want a Blu-ray for the first one as well,
True.
and
True.
I don't have the original 4K file of the first one.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's the kind of thing to where I would have to rip it from YouTube and it would
Yeah.
be terrible garbage
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
1080p
Oh yeah. Yeah.
ripped from
Yeah.
YouTube.
It'll
The
be
compression would be horrible. It would be like
doing it a disservice by doing it that way. Yeah.
you would pop in the Blu-ray and it would be pretty much like 240p and it would just
Yeah.
be garbage. That wouldn't be worth it. But then I would do one for two, but I would
Hmm.
want to do one for one. And also I would imagine it would be a lot of money to make the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Like that's a world I don't know much about. But
Yeah.
then like
Yeah. I'm interested. I might have to hit up Wet Movie. I don't know how he got hooked up with this and how he got the money to produce. I guess it was a limited run. It had to be. I don't think he's got like boxes and boxes in his parent in his house.
he
So
probably does. He probably
maybe
does.
probably does. Probably still, I bought it. So
But Brendan Mitchell, Wet Movie One,
yeah,
is one of my best friends. Like you were
yeah,
talking about him earlier, and I knew I had to have him in the second movie for sure. And I'm just really glad that I had him in two scenes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the second one, obviously, I love them both, but the second one specifically, when we're on the phone and just
mm,
like the 100% conflicting tone, and just like with what the
hmm,
scene means and like where it is in the movie, like it's about how it's like me looking in a mirror.
yeah.
It's like I really like that one for
I
sure.
really,
But
I yeah, I really like what he was telling you on the phone there, and not to get into the specifics, but like it was just such a true statement, and it is real. Like that's real. Like look at Wet Movie, look at his channel, and we do. I mean, look for my channel. I've been around forever. I mean, I don't even have half the subscribers that you guys do, but I'm still doing it because you just love what you're doing, and you're doing what you love, and you just have to develop this thing where you just don't care what other people think.
yes.
And as long as you're not hurting anybody, including yourself, just do what makes you happy. And that's I mean, Brendan said it in a more harsher, kind of like, straightforward
Vulgar
way.
way, yeah.
Vulgar way. But I love
But
the guy.
agreed. But about the Blu-ray though, like
Mhm.
I would like to make one for two, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like it would probably be a lot of okay, so for one, it would probably be hard to do, and then two, it
Yeah.
would probably be expensive. And then some people tell me, "Oh, it's not expensive." It's just I'm like, "Well, I don't know." And then plus on top of that, I wouldn't want to. It would probably be a lot to make, and I would probably have to charge people like $30 for it,
Yeah.
like
To
to
make a
justify like
to
to
make a little
justify
profit from it. Yeah, of course.
making it,
Hmm.
and it's like I don't want to charge anybody for any of my content, no matter
Yeah.
what,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
I hear you.
like even if it's that sort of thing,
Hmm.
I would but the one thing I did think about was making posters and having everybody, well,
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or attempting to have everybody sign it because like
Yeah.
most of the people in the movie actually left me in real life, so it's like, oh, it's like I would
Really?
knock on the door, hey, could you sign these posters? They just
Yeah.
punch me in the face and slam the door.
That's so amazing.
But
It's so depressing yet so amazing to know that what you guys and girls are gonna see in the movie really is legit. Like that's what happened. Like people leave your life, and I've had that happen to me, to people, and it's very sad, but it also makes for great a great piece of art. And man, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like Uncle John, Dylan, and all these people in this movie. It's insane. You know, again, not to get into specifics, but we talked about that at the end. Some of the stuff that, oh, Mason, yeah, the conversation with Mason. And again, no spoilers, but the conversation with Mason he had at the end with you. Um, that was whoo, gut wrenching. If you didn't,
100% real.
unreal,
I
man.
swear to God.
Yeah, yeah. And I was the same age as you when I was getting those conversations, and that's why it hit me so hard. And I actually ended up quitting um, YouTube, and then a few years later, just saying I got to bring it back, and I did, and it was the biggest. And I don't have many regrets in life. I try not to anyway, but that was the biggest regret. It was quitting YouTube, and steadily, and oh God, it was must have been 4 or 5 years, and then I went back and back ever since, but. You just have to stay. Well, the summary to this whole, and I hope everybody watching at home, stay true to yourself. You're gonna get fed a lot of crap from the world and society, and you're gonna get fed a lot of crap from people that love you, but they think it's the best advice, but in reality, only you know what's true, what's good for you, and just stay true to
Yes.
yourself, man. That's why man, I didn't expect to for it to make me so emotional, but I went through it at the same age, same exact age, same situations. I was working at where was I working at the time? God, I had like minimum wage, like Staples. I was working at Staples, and doing my YouTube channel, and just people just like, when are you gonna? What are you? You're getting anywhere. You're not getting it. It was the same. It was like a verbatim some of the things in this movie. So I recommend everybody to check it out. Even if you don't relate to it, just watch it because it is amazing. By the time you're seeing this, it is out everywhere. Or not everywhere. It's on Alex's YouTube channel. But I know I have some people, and we'll put the links in the description, of course. But we have some people who have never been to your channel. So how do they find your channel? Just other than the links in the description, it's youtube.com/Alex Leyba, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's just my name, Alex Leyba.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to find.
We're banking on this one beating the 15K that the views for the first movie. So this one's going to do 50K. That's my prediction.
Hopefully.
Mark my words, 50K for this one. 50K.
Hopefully. That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
I want to say this to the viewers at home. If you haven't seen the movie, it's been a pleasure having you as a viewer. But I have exhausted all of my non-spoiler talk, and Alex and I are going to get into a couple spoilers that we want to talk about. So you can X out of the movie, leave a comment, please, and a like, and definitely click the link to the movie that's going to be in the description. Subscribe to Alex's channel, and we'll see you guys later because you can't. I mean, unless you want to really spoil it and be an asshole, why would you do that to yourself? Because some kind of prick, because what little prick kind of spoils a movie for you? You must really hate yourself if you're spoiling movie. X out. Goodbye.
Yeah. I was thinking, well, people do that all the time. Dead Meat
Well,
has
yeah.
what, like 20 million subscribers at this point.
Yeah. One of my highest rated, it got like 60,000 views was a video I made. And people hate me for it, but I just wanted to be an ass. I went to my movie. I went in my car and I filmed a review of Avengers Endgame before it had even come out. And I guess people were kind of pissed off. It was clearly, but in the description I said this is a parody. I did not really see the movie. 60,000 views. I don't. That's not the type of content you see on my channel often, but I wanted to do a science experiment, a social media experiment, and
So like
people.
it was a fake review. You didn't actually see the movie, or what
I,
was it?
I had eventually saw it, but I did not see the movie. It didn't even. I had said I saw any early screening, but if anybody with any sense clicked in the description, it said this is a parody. Go see the movie when it comes out. I did not actually see it, but then
Hmm.
60,000 people watched that. I wish I could get 60,000 for my vlogs and comedy videos, but whatever. I guess we'll
It's
wish it.
always it's just annoying how YouTube works. It's just that like a lot of times, unless you have a star in it or something, even
Yeah.
then it's like you never really know if a video is going to do well,
No, you
Like just
don't.
the stupidest bullshit
Hmm.
crap just gets, just does so well
Yeah.
that you spent hardly any time on, but then the stuff you spend like a ridiculous amount of time on that you're so passionate about, no one cares.
Nothing, and the
Yeah, that.
algorithm doesn't even show it in the feeds. They have to go search in their subs, and
Yeah.
it's a whole different animal than it was. It used to be, but
Hmm.
so for those of you who clicked off, I hope you clicked off because I want to get into a couple things, not too deep, but a couple things I want to talk about towards the end of the movie.
We can go deep if you want.
Sure. I think Wet Movie would have a comment about that one. All right, so.
We'd have many comments about that one.
I was halfway thinking to shoot him the link to this and have him hijack the video, but I thought better of it. I saw this is time for the Alex Leyba movie 2, not the Brendan Mitchell show. Um, so basically, at the end, I mean. Alex gets hit with all this just negative stuff. Some of the stuff that I was referring to in that scene with Mason, just telling him things like that his channel is dead. Everything, everything you say when I talk to you is scripted. Like it feels like you're just playing for the camera. You're not even talking to me. Like no one even is talking to you anymore because you're just filming for your own thing, and that makes you selfish. This is the line that he said that you're the most self-absorbed person ever. I mean,
Something that's really interesting is that all that was 1,000% just me. I know it's like
you're
like
exaggerating a little
no,
bit
no, no, no,
there.
no, 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 no,
No,
no, no,
no.
no. So I was like, I would say this for like a lot of scenes, but like that scene in particular was 100% zero setup. I was literally just filming him in the car going off. And then it's like
Yeah,
I had this scene for a long time and I didn't
yeah,
really know how it would fit into the movie, but then I ended up splitting it up. There's some of
yeah.
it in like towards the end, there's some of it there's a
Yeah.
lot of it in the third act sprinkled through, but then there's
I just,
the
yeah.
main bulk of it is in the it's similar to what I did with the Ben scene. It's like, some of it's in the beginning, some's, like,
Does Mason really feel that way? Does he really feel that way?
yeah, but he's,
He's still cool. Yeah, it's just like, wow, man, like that's insane to me. I just, man, there's a problem. And again, I don't know Mason. He could be, of course, you were friends or were friends or maybe better friends growing up and everything. But there just seems to be a problem in the world of like people not accepting people who are different and like have different kind of paths in life. It's like growing up to me means living your truth and being who you are and staying true to yourself and doing things that that make you happy. That's growing up. Like to me, the opposite of growing up is, well, society says I've got to do this, and this right now, or I'm a failure. That's the opposite. That's the opposite of being mature. I think that's being a robot. Like, and
yeah,
if you do that, I've got many friends who've done that and that I love. It's okay. But to me, if you live your life by like, I need to do this by 18, I need to do this by 28, I need to do this by 30, or I'm a failure. That's not, I don't think you get it. And I don't think that's why we're here. To listen.
well, the thing about that is that um I I like half agree with you.
Yeah.
It's like I agree that it I agree with that in certain aspects for sure, but at the same time, it's like it's good to have goals,
Yeah, sure, sure.
to like
To
reach them.
advance and evolve. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like I know like me saying this, because like the whole movie is about how I'm just stuck in the same spot and not going, but like
Yeah, yeah. I just think it's person by person, and a lot of people, um just people are different. They're wired differently. And me, I have always liked going against the grain. I've always liked not being normal. I mean, I grew up, I don't know whether it had to do with my upbringing. I mean, I was very shy and reserved. I hate even using the word shy, but reserved and kind of like an outcast in school. And then as I got older, I kind of became my own person. So I wanted to kind of show that and be creative and express myself more. And when you have a lot of people a lot of people trying to push that side of you down, it's like, dude, this is who I am. If you don't like it, I guess leave, or I don't know. I feel like you should support your friends. My friend, as long as their passion is not hurting anyone, support your friends, lift them up. Give them their flowers, because we're here for a limited time, and not everybody is the same. So we're getting into a whole different conversation off the movie and just like
no, I mean,
psychology, but it's still related to the movie.
exactly. I mean, it's all like I agree, like it's 100%, it's like you just gotta like accept people for who they are.
Yeah.
But in terms of like with what you're saying in terms of the movie specifically, with like if you think that about me,
Yeah.
like it's the idea to where like um you said like, oh, as long as it's not hurting anyone. Well, it's like, well, I kind of am hurting everyone around me with it, by like shoving it down everyone's throats and like
Hmm.
literally forcing them to like be, so it's like
Yeah.
the idea like with the movie to me is like again what William Friedkin always said about the idea. He said, I don't believe in superheroes,
Hmm.
about how there's good and evil in everyone. And
Right.
it's one of the ideas of the movie is just that nobody's all good and nobody's all bad. It's like everybody's good and bad. I feel like a lot of people,
Yeah.
could watch the movie and just straight up think that everybody is like there's nobody to root for. It's like there are people that could watch the movie and then just think every single person in the movie, Josh, Mason, me, and like literally everyone, like yeah, like there's people who would think that literally everyone is just an asshole and unlikable and all that. But then also like you see me, Mason, Josh, do things that are good and that
Yeah.
shows that they do have you know like do good things for me and for people. And
Hmm.
it's like, but then also at the same time you see us do all these bad things that would
Yeah.
go against the grain of storytelling to like make us completely unlikable, unrootable characters. But it's like the idea is that everyone's varying shades of gray. It's
Yeah.
like there
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
no, it's like me, it's like really in a nutshell, like the main character, just by the end of it, it's like you don't know. I feel like early on, like the idea is early on, like you see me as like an anti-hero,
Yeah.
like as the kind of, or not really, or no, the hero, the kind of thing where it's like, oh, cool, or, but, obviously, it's the kind of thing to where you're like, this guy's clearly, you know, not like mentally unstable at that point, at least in the first act, but
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
kind of thing where it's like, okay, it's a silly little man child that's like
Yeah.
stuck in his own world, but it's whatever, so we'll see how it turns out. But then it gets to
Mhm.
the point to where like in the second act, and like the more the movie progresses along, like the more maybe you think, okay, maybe Alex isn't to be trusted. Maybe like our main character is an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
And then like that's another thing about how like I faked the ending of the first movie or whatever, and like
Hmm.
you know,
burning the Blu-rays.
yeah, about how I faked it, which I really did fake it. And then
Yeah.
which like everyone knew that, but it's like, no, you're supposed to, everyone says, oh, that clearly wasn't your whole collection. It's like, no, the idea is that like, yeah, there was a lot of dirt underneath it, but you're supposed
Yeah.
to think the dirt was more movies. And it's like
Right.
I thought it looked realistic, but I guess
Yeah.
it didn't. But the idea is that you're supposed to like be I almost said you're supposed to not like me more and more as the movie progresses, but it's like, no, you're supposed to be like unsure, and then like the idea is supposed to be reinforced that everybody's varying shades of gray, that everyone's has good and evil in them, because you see me do good things, but then like as the and everyone else too, and then
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, like the idea is that not everyone's all good and all bad,
Yeah.
it's like who I mean, it's not like a Marvel movie where everyone's 100% good,
Yeah.
and like,
No, yeah.
and then like by the third act you're probably really thinking like, okay, like, is this main character, this guy who, like, in the beginning, I was kind of on his side, like now it's like, like by the third act you're thinking, I don't know if I should be on his side anymore.
I mean, even the bad choices you make, you become, I know this is a spoiler, if you become addicted
Edibles.
to edibles, which is funny. um I we're not going to get into stories about that with me, but not very good stories. But anyway,
Oh man.
yeah, so that was one thing where you got peer pressured by your friend and his girlfriend to do that. I remember that scene, and and that contributed, I guess, to another spoiler we can tell you if you've seen it, hopefully.
It's
It,
that started domino effect.
Right, domino effect, which led to the heart condition, heart attack, whole thing with the high blood pressure. I have always had high. I don't know if it's true high blood pressure or I just have anxiety when I go to the doctors, but I've always had issues with blood pressure. Was that a real thing with you with the high blood pressure?
Yes, but
Yeah,
and that was completely real, and
yeah,
it was expanded upon way more so in the original short film version. But
okay.
that's the stuff early on that I kept in the original short film version,
Oh, okay,
and
gotcha.
not the bike riding stuff. That was
Yeah,
entirely
like,
shot in 2023.
oh, okay, like riding
But
with Uncle John.
yeah, but in real life I started taking medication, but like
Yeah,
in the movie, like the idea is I didn't start taking medication, but like all that stuff is real though, about like my emotions
yeah.
associated with that, and about like maybe I shot my lifespan in half, but like
Hmm.
if you start taking medication for it, it'll
Help.
it'll just disappear.
And then another thing I wanted to talk about was related to health and the movie itself was towards the end. Then Alex comes to terms with the fact that he has you said personality disorder. I think it is, right. And that's
Yeah, I didn't say
yeah,
which one it was.
yeah. You just said that's a generic term for it. Personality disorder. I mean, you have a lot of things there, but that was definitely a pretty powerful moment too towards the end. You know what else during that scene? I can't remember if it was before or during. It was in one of those latter stages, and I'm gonna call back to another thing that I said earlier was the music, and I know how big a Saw fan you are, but you used the Saw theme. And it fit perfect. It's like, and I didn't even think to my head is like, oh, this is corny. This is fanboy shit with like, oh, we say the Jigsaw. Like, this fits the scene perfect. It was absolutely perfect and a great choice for that.
And
This,
so I really appreciate that, because the
yeah,
thing is that Saw is, as
yeah.
flashback to moment from when I was in line for Tobin Bell,
I remember I was
when
there. Yep.
you were there, you came up to me, I was wearing the clothing, holding the dog.
Yeah.
Saw is my favorite horror franchise
Yeah.
ever, and I
Part
am
part one part one when I saw that in 2004 or 5,
I'm
reinvigorated.
so jealous. I'm so
Yeah,
jealous. You
saw
saw it in theaters when it
in
came
the
out.
theater that reinvigorated my love for horror because prior to that early 2000s newer horror of course was kind of like meh. And then when
Hmm.
Saw hit it just it it tore the roof off the genre, and it was full steam ahead. So it was very impactful movie for sure.
Oh yeah, the original Saw is my favorite horror film and one of my favorite movies ever made. And
Yeah.
like recently when I went to Horror Hound and like
Hmm.
I couldn't make it to Lee Winnell's line, but like I saw he was leaving. I'm like, if I don't get his autograph, whatever. I need to meet the man. And so I ran and caught him outside, but he was super cool and super
Yeah, that's
nice. Just with
awesome.
this thick Australian accent. What's your name? Oh, it was great. But no, like Saw is seriously just one of my favorite franchises ever, and it
Mhm.
means so much to me. And Hello Zep might be, in fact, it is. It's my favorite piece of music in all of cinema, or my
Yeah.
favorite score, my favorite musical score in all of cinema. Like
Yeah.
not just horror, anything. Just like that. Like that's like one of the aspects of it that I think is like
Yeah.
universally great, even if you don't like that kind of movie. You know, like you
Yeah. Yeah.
can
Yeah.
play that score and be like, okay, that's a really good score. But like I've always wanted to use it for one of my narratives or one of
Mhm.
my stories, or like I wanted to use it for something like with my vlog series with my people, you know, like I
Yeah.
wanted to do something with it in my world that I've created. And so like I thought, you know, why not do that? But then I thought to myself, I'm not sure if it'll tonally work. And then the other
Yeah.
thing is, did you notice the other musical score that was in that scene that it kind of cuts back and forth from?
Um, refresh my memory. I'm not.
The
I.
Substance.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I love that movie too. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't make the. You know what? I didn't make the connection that that was the theme from it, but I did.
The
I saw
thing
that. I
is,
saw that. Yeah.
the thing is that with the Substance, like the entire score, as far as I'm pretty sure the entire score was, you know, the score, you know, like made by them. But
Yeah.
the only track in the Substance that is not the score made by the composer, it's a track called Ugly and Vengeful. Like it was the only one track in the movie that was like, you know, a pre-existing thing, and it's played just at like, without spoiling that movie, like where the blood's squirting everywhere,
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
know,
That last scene.
and it's just a little bit of that track, like about a minute or so of it. But then I
Mhm.
played most of the track, and so it's like you don't hear that point until toward the end of the scene. But and so like I thought, okay, that fits perfectly. And so I was really debating on which one to use. It's like I want to use Saw. It would fit in certain. I thought to myself, the Saw theme will fit with certain things, but it will not fit with all of it. I know that for sure. And then I thought to myself, I have to use um either one or the other. And so then I
Yeah.
thought the theme from the Substance I thought would fit perfectly for the whole
Yeah.
thing. And then so I really was debating, but then the sequence ended up being so long that I decided to combine them. And then also on top of that, I had no idea that I was going to put the end of Mason's storyline there and let you know with it being non-linear. And so then I interspliced it there. And then plus because it was that scene took me many months to edit. Like that
Yeah.
scene was definitely the most challenging single aspect of the movie to pull off, as
Oh
well as
yeah.
the hardest to edit, because
Oh
like
my God. Absolutely.
there was so much footage,
Flash. Yeah.
and it's like one scene, it's like you could technically say the scene itself lasts like almost a half hour, but it's like, you
Hmm.
know, because it's me in the same place. But it's like, no, it's cutting back, you know, with flashbacks and da 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 da
Yeah.
da and going off the
It's a
rails and
lot. It's
everything.
a lot. It's a lot to chop
And
in,
so
man.
like for one, I had to use the two tracks, the Substance and Hello Zep, because like if I just use Zep like the entire time, that would get repetitive. Plus, it wouldn't have been tonally, it wouldn't have made sense of the tone to use just one or the other. And so like I thought, well, it's a no-brainer. I can just mix it up and just use some here, and then it'll go back to the Substance, then Hello's Up, then back to the Substance, and whatever. And then also, you know, that scene was just, that whole sequence was just so difficult for so many different
Yeah.
reasons, you know, because like I'm just standing there by the fire pit, and then it's like I had to have like filming with, what's happening while it's happening, but like it was also really difficult to like have a selection of shots to where it's not just the same two static shots of me just fucking standing there. And
Right,
like I
right,
mean, like
right.
the shots of the fire, I do understand gets like pretty repetitive, but at the same time, it's like there's not much to cut to, and then
Yeah.
so it's like the whole idea, like the whole sequence with editing it was a balancing act to
Hmm.
like make it as entertaining as possible and not repetitive as
Right.
possible, and like I with cutting it back and forth with the end of Mason's story and then from the exposed video to and so like it was just really extremely difficult to put together. And then like when I finally got done with that, I'm like, with like the whole rest of the movie was like still hard to edit, but like just way easier because it was like there's no flashbacks,
Right.
really. Like I mean, there's
Right.
a
Right.
couple small things, but like it was just the whole rest of it from that point on was just very like streamlined, just very just the events happening as they happen rather than cutting back and forth and
Hmm.
flashback and and
Yeah, it didn't
so
didn't take nearly as much time as that portion did. So
yeah, I'm really glad that you dug the Hello Zep though. I'm so happy I finally got to put that in there as
yeah.
you know.
What would you classify this genre of movie? What would you call it? The Alex Leyba movie was slice of life movie, reality. I like to use the word reality on my stuff that I produce on my channel. I like to use the phrase reality comedy. But this, I don't know if you want to use comedy. It's more like, I don't know what kind of drama, reality drama, I would say, or I don't know. What would you classify this movie? If I was working at Blockbuster right now, I'm putting this on the shelf. What section would I put the Alex Leyba 2 that movie in?
I don't I don't know, like because it's kind of a hybrid of a lot of different genres, which like
Yeah,
that is a really good question. So
yeah,
like I don't if like I could sit here and stutter and be like, well, it's like ultimately a
yeah,
drama, but there's it's really you could say ultimately it's a comedy or like
yeah,
coming of age, but it's like if they're to be like no one genre, pick it.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
it's technically a found footage movie,
yeah,
technically. Like if you like once you get around to it, it's technically found footage, but in the same way that The
yeah.
Visit was a found footage movie,
Oh,
or
right, exactly.
not exactly like that, of course,
Yeah,
but
but
like, but
style.
I
Yeah,
just I just only mean that in terms of the fact that like the main character is trying to make it, it's like yeah, it's
yeah,
straight up found footage, but it's also has cinematic looking shots to where like the character is trying to make it look cinematic for a movie she's making,
right.
and so it's the kind of thing to where like a lot of people have told me, just like straight up like no, it's not a movie, like oh, this isn't cinematic, like oh, this isn't you know, and it's it's the kind of thing to where basically the amateur presentation is justified in the story.
Yeah,
If you were to 100% watch this and view this and judge this as a completely like how on Hollywood movie standards, like on a complete, like yeah, like as a legitimate movie, it's not with that we, taking out the found footage and everything I'm about to explain. The movie is terrible. There's no getting around it. Like there's tons of technical flaws, like in the sound, the image is a lot, the colors off at certain parts, like there's some shots that are out of focus,
well, yeah,
and it's like it's if you completely judge it that way, it is terrible. But it's the kind of thing to where the amateur presentation is justified in the story because
yeah.
it's because the whole idea is that it's made by a character, and also the fact that it's
It
technically found
fits.
footage.
Yeah,
Yeah, it fits. It's like made by someone who's like like in the movie, like my character's like just is essentially brain dead, essentially is just this complete idiot who just thinks he's doing something big, grand, and like I'm gonna change cinema on
yeah,
this. I'm just essentially this man child, but it's like the idea is that like I'm also driving the whole thing,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
the whole thing, it's just like is it's a glimpse into my world, it's
Yeah.
the whole thing the audience knows is entirely me filming it, me shooting it, me editing it,
Yeah.
and it's like a glimpse into my world.
I know there was a part, my brain is so scattered sometimes, but I feel like there was a part in either part one or part two when wasting money was giving you that advice and you were saying like start making films and eventually there's going to be like the Alex Leyba movie part 25 or something. And like we're going to be like old and gray and stuff. But we're talking about the future. We're talking about, what's coming next. Are we going to see another similar type project? Do you have anything else in the works? So what is coming up next for Alex Leyba in the world of film?
Well, I know exactly what the next project I'm going to do. It is the Shelley Duvall documentary,
Oh, cool.
and
R.I.P.
it's been shot for. Well, I mean, not completely shot. Like obviously all the footage of Shelley has been shot for a long time.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I worked on her last film, The Forest Hills, which is a
Right.
horror
Yeah.
film, and I had the fortunate opportunity to uh, interview her one time, and then also go to her house and film uh, behind the scenes of her filming her the last time she ever filmed anything for any movie, and it was just profound on so many different levels. And I have lots of footage, lots of 4K footage of that entire experience. And it was myself, the star of the movie Chico Mendez, the writer director Scott Goldberg, and then Crystal Woodlam. I forgot how to say her last name, but she was there as well. It was just a 4-person crew. And also, I have a lot of other different footage of her like throughout the process. And so I thought to myself, I have enough footage of Shelley to make to make a documentary about her. But and so like it's been a long time since I've shot it. So basically, like that's definitely the next project I'm gonna do, and
Nice.
basically going to edit through all of the footage and see see what I have and see what can be done with it.
Yeah.
And what approach I want to take to it, because I'm not 100% sure. Because if I do want to do a legitimate feature length documentary, just like I did with the Forest Hills,
Gotcha.
the Edward Furlong in the Forest Hills documentary I made, which is a feature length documentary about Edward Furlong's process of making movies, and also chronicles the never mind, go check it out. But I got to see
Okay.
what I have first. And like there's not too much of a narrative through line, so then
Mhm.
I'd probably have to shoot more footage to make one. And so yeah, that's the deal with that, and that's what is next. But then after that, I would love to start doing more original filmmaking, because the end of this Leyba movie too, again, would still love to make three, because it's
Yeah.
a wildly different story that would be
Yeah.
more. It would kind of pull from the first one specifically with the Bronson and Dalton story, but it would for the most part be like its own thing, its
Own
own
entity. Yeah.
entity. But like uh but I'm more than likely not going to be able to do that. And so like I would love to start making like original films. uh yeah,
Hey,
I'd love to just keep making movies, that like aren't connected to my you know channel.
yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I'm not entirely sure like what that's gonna be, but like because I'm not the best writer. I have some ideas, but I'm not. I don't know. I think I'm gonna attempt to try to write some stuff and then see if I could,
Yeah. Give it a shot. Should try
if anything happens.
maybe try with some shorts or like you don't have to go a feature length 2 hour. You know, I would say maybe ease in with some shorts and then work your way up from there. That might be a solid
Oh yeah.
strategy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love to keep making more movies. I just don't know exactly what they would be yet.
Before we get out of here, Alex, that I want to bring up because I freeze framed it. You're reading a letter that your dad wrote to you. Um, Did you script that, or did your dad actually write that? You scripted that, right? No, he wrote it. Okay, so the one part,
That was, yeah.
no,
Okay.
so the one thing I wish would have bring up because
I swear to God, that was completely.
okay,
It's like,
but he knew it was going to be in the movie though.
and if you, yeah,
Okay,
and
so
if
one,
you,
okay, I have to say this. The thing that made me chuckle was the thing part where he's why don't you join the Air Force? They're looking for pilots. I don't, and then I'm picturing Alex with like a pilot's hat, like a whole setup on. It's like, well, my dad said I should do this, guys. I'm like, I don't know. I'm running the Air Force now. I'm Alex Leyba, co-pilot of the. I was like thinking like, oh, I don't know. It made me laugh.
oh my God.
But
That's funny.
if you didn't
Josh said something like that too. Like I said, like how would who would trust you? You know, like driving an airplane. You know, like in charge of people's lives. You know.
I was like, your dad made a lot of sense in the things that he was saying, but that was one thing where I was like, I don't know if I want Alex. I don't think Alex would be a good fit in the Air Force with his with all his patches and his thumbs up American flag.
But the thing about that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But the thing about that though is that like he just meant like choose a career.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He was
Like
just giving me
just
options. Yeah.
like I don't want to choose a. It's like obviously I know like it's like oh just like in the scene with Ben to where I early on to where we're talking about like I said he said I don't know what I realistically want to do. Then I'm like I know it's like oh I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to do all these things and but it's like but it's like the adults and just the people in my life are just like okay, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. So get a real fucking career and like actually like pick a real legitimate career and make money and go to college. And it's just like, yeah, and then just like what I said, I could waste my entire life trying to be a filmmaker. And so it's like, he just said like, you have to pick a realistic career and you can't just spend just like what I say, you can't spend the rest of your life chasing cars, but it's like
but life is a gamble, and
it's complicated, and so it's like I like that's what he was saying, like pick a career, and it's like
well, I could tell he was definitely compassionate and legitimately loved you, no matter what he said there. How harsh or not harsh it came off at, but that was a great scene. Alex, I think we've broken the record for the longest RueTV episode of all time. I have to double check though. I had Glenn Humplick from the Tom Green Show on one time, and we went really long. But I think this might be my favorite episode of all time and the longest.
Really?
So you might, if that's true, you get a jacket in the mail. So I will send you a jacket that says the longest guest of all time on RueTV. So
I would love that.
I'll have it screen printed eventually from Cafe Press or something. So
sounds great. But dude, I can't thank you enough for having me on, and I can't thank you. I seriously can't thank you enough that you for one wanted to have me on, but then also on top of that, like really, not only really enjoyed the movie, but really connected with it as well.
Yeah,
and like you said, that you really connected to a lot of aspects about it and related to it, and it's like it's like like you said, the movie's not like 100% relatable to everybody, but I feel like there's enough in there to where like most people could connect with something in there. Like if it's not me, it's one of my friends or just something, and so I really appreciate it. It was a good time.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on the show. And we want to thank everybody. If you stuck with us this long, thank you so much. And again, I want you to check out the description of this video because there's going to be a link to the movie so you can watch it. Sit down. I recommend watching it if you've got a nice HD TV, 4K, whatever you want to watch it on. Watch it in the big screen, not on your
4K TV.
Yeah,
4K TV.
4K it'll look best in. So watch it on there. And yeah, Alex, thanks so much for coming on. And you're always welcome here. This is your third appearance on RueTV. First time on a Zoom call. Third, the other two were in person. So you're a regular. You're like you're a reoccurring character now in the RueTV universe, RueTV verse.
Yes, and I love to come back.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, man, and best of luck with everything else. And like I said, sky's the limit, and onward and upward.
But
And yeah,
hmm
I hope everybody watching this at home gets as much out of the movie as I did. And if you liked it, please, the algorithm is kicking both of our asses. Share it, like, comment, share if you like. If you dug the movie, share the link to your friend who you think might like it.
Yes.
If you dug this interview, share it with your friend because it's tough to get some traction these days. And but you do what you got to do. So for myself, for the legendary Alex Leyba, I will say thanks, guys and gals, for joining us. But have a wonderful evening and subscribe to Alex Leyba's YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching from Alex's channel. And Alex, before we get out of here, do you plan on coming to another Monster Mania Con if there's a good guest? Maybe I could see you in person again one day.
That is a really long drive.
Yeah.
But if there's eventually, yeah, for sure. Because
All right,
I
cool.
love going to the quick stop and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's always a fun time whenever I head out there. So eventually, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So that's all. Wrapping up. Peace, love, and good happiness, health, and all that shit. All that
Yes.
shit. Yeah. All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. See ya.